Hello everybody, good afternoon and welcome to the United Stand. We're going to be talking Donny van de Beek. I promised this morning, but I didn't know there was a story coming out that Manchester United would be willing to let Donny van de Beek to leave Manchester United in January to rejuvenate his career. Now, the point of the show is really to talk about Donny and what's actually going on, because I think there's a bit of hypocrisy around the Manchester United fan base at the moment where they're going, oh, he's not all that. Why, he's not getting game time because he's not all that. He's not all that. And then you've got McTominay and Fred playing in your midfield crap every week, but you're like, Donny's not that good. So we'll talk about that. But obviously, first of all, I do want to talk about, this story that we're going to let him go to rejuvenate his career like we did with Lingard. I think it's a story full of hypocrisy and holes that will probably do it. Also, Cavani's been talking about his battle with Ronaldo for game time. Really interesting comments from him around that, as well as talk of us going back in for a right back. So lots to talk about, plus we're going to get into your chats as well. But I want to start off talking about Donny van de Beek, obviously. The first thing I'm just going to say about this is that it's always about opinion, whether it's in the comments or in the live chat or on social media or on other outlets, whatever. I'm not bothered. It's all about opinion. But my opinion is this on Donny van de Beek. Before we talk about us loaning in January to rejuvenate him, let me just say this. I do read other opinions because I think in life, you've got to listen to other opinions to solidify your own, or even maybe manoeuvre your own a little bit if you think, well, that's a good point. That's just what life's all about. But you do hear what I would say are bad takes as well. I hear a lot of this. Well, people are talking about Donny van de Beek like he's the next Kimmich, like he's an amazing player being treated badly. Every time I've seen him, he's not been that good, and the reason he's not playing is because he's crap. And I'm like, hold on a minute. I love your passion. I love the fact that you want to be right, but your argument is flawed straight away. So Donny van de Beek's not playing because he's not good enough, basically. Okay, why is Matic not playing then? Because he's not good enough? Why is Pogba on the bench? Because he's not good enough? The argument falls apart with Ollie's obsession with McTominay and Fred. Because Ollie will bench any player decent to play those two people. And we've seen this for over a year. Pogba gets put to the wing or on the bench. Matic hardly plays for McTominay and Fred. So you can't just say Donny's not playing because he's not very good. Donny's not playing because Ollie wants to pick McTominay and Fred, and he's done it to Matic and he's done it to Pogba as well. So that's point one. Point two is, actually, I would argue with anybody who says that he's not played well when he's been given an opportunity. I can think of not many opportunities he's been given, but even going back to like November time, Pogba and McTominay were injured. He played in the midfield, I think, with Fred and maybe Matic around sort of November time. Did well. As soon as McTominay and Pogba came back, he's back on the bench. Played in the FA Cup game in January with McTominay. Played really well. Back on the bench. Played at the end of the season against Wolves with Matic. Really well. Played against West Ham a couple of weeks ago. Played well. It's not like he's turning up and looks like he's got his shoelaces tied together. He does well. I'm not ever going to say he's the next Kimmich. I'm not saying that. But the frustrating thing with Donny van de Beek is this, and I will argue with anybody, is that you cannot say he's not being picked because he's not very good. You can't say that. Because where were you 18 months ago when we bought him? Because these same people who are having a pop at him now, 18 months ago, check their tweets. They were going, oh, he's a great player. I'm really excited about it. I've really liked him. I've admired him for ages from Ajax. What a deal. 35 million. What a deal. He's a 60 million pound player. It's a great deal. And 18 months later, they've just decided to go with the take, well, he's crap. He's crap. That's why he's not getting picked. Never really been given a run in the game. Never really been given a run in the team. So, look, I absolutely agree that who knows whether Van de Beek's the answer or not. Maybe he isn't. But the frustration is that he doesn't get afforded the opportunities a certain two players do who are not very good in a United shirt. And that's the argument. Fred, for example, has been shocking this season. And yet is still getting picked ahead of a Van de Beek, a Matic or a Pogba. That's not right. And that is why people get frustrated. Nobody's got a divine right to play for Manchester United. But where these Van de Beek people who say, well, Van de Beek's crap, that's why he doesn't pick, this is where their argument falls apart. Because they're quite right to say nobody's got a divine right to get picked for Manchester United. Maybe he's not good enough. Fine. Good point. Have you seen who's been picked for the last few weeks? Fred, McTominay, not played well. Not played well at all this season. We've dropped points with them in the team. And yet you're not saying kick them out of the team to give Donny or Matic or Pogba a chance. Flawed argument. What do you think about United's post welcoming new players in 2020 without mentioning Donny, says Kevin. And I would loan Donny out for 6 months in January, and then once Pogba leaves, play Donny as the box-to-box midfielder next to DM, which we need to buy, says Cameron. But you know what I mean? I am very... Mark, great episode with Ben Foster. I enjoyed it, says Prince. I really enjoyed it as well. But I'm really... I really do... Sorry, somebody just said where to get the hoodie from. Links in the video description. Viva Ronaldo. It's a new design we did last week, so links in the video description for that with all the other stuff which you can get. But you know what? I really do love... I wouldn't do this if I didn't enjoy it. I love the debate. I love it when people chuck up stuff in the chats and you go, whoa, what's that all about? I love the general debate. But what I will call out on my own is that I am hearing people going, why are people so obsessed with Van der Beek? Oh, everyone's always talking about Van der Beek like he's this, that and the other, like he's the big, like he's the dog's bollocks and this, that and the other. I'm like, you're letting your whatever's going on in your head cloud the fact that you're wrong. Like, you're wrong. Fred and McTominay are playing in the midfield and they're playing badly. Donny should be given an opportunity ahead of them because they're playing badly. That's why people are frustrated. It's not because they think Donny van der Beek's going to be the best player the Premier League's ever seen. It's that he should be getting a chance and he's not being given a chance. That's why people talk about it. And some people in the media and some people in our fan base can't click their brain into that. They're like, well, he's not getting picked because he's crap. No, that's what it's all about. He's just not good. And you're like, are you watching who's playing in the midfield? They need dropping, therefore other players should be given a chance. And you can't just say Van der Beek's being benched because he's crap, because Matic and Pogba are getting benched for the same two players. It's totally right if you are frustrated about Van der Beek's lack of opportunities, because I'm frustrated by the lack of Matic opportunities as well. They all fall into the same thing. That's what it's all about. Anyway, smash a like on the video. Let's move on to the next bit, which has come in the last couple of hours. This is from... I think it was from the Mirror, actually. So, look, take it with a pinch of salt. But basically saying that Manchester United are open to Donny van der Beek going on loan in January to rejuvenate his career. And this is the second strand of my frustration, really. What a load of nonsense. What a bit of hypocritical hyperbole. They compare it in the story to... They're looking to rejuvenate his career by sending him on loan in January, like they did with Jesse Lingard. Hold on a minute. Have you not listened to the last 5 minutes? We've got two midfielders who are playing badly. We've not got prime Kimmich and prime Pogba playing in our midfield. We've not got the perfect midfield that never gets injured and is absolutely amazing. We've got McTominay and Fred playing in midfield badly. And we're going to send another midfielder off on loan to rejuvenate himself. How's about we rejuvenate him here? You know, how's about we give him a chance here, where we've got two underperforming midfielders? Why are we sending him on loan to rejuvenate his career? Give him a game here. And what happens when he goes on loan and he goes on loan to Everton and plays really well? I'm going to give him a chance now. Did you not think about that when you bought him from Ajax, when he was playing in the Champions League semi-final? Did you not look at him there and go, there's a good player, maybe I'll give him a chance? It's the Twansebi effect again. Twansebi went on loan, did well, got injured, got fit, played well against bloody Mbappe and Neymar, never really got another chance, and he's now on loan playing well again for Villa. At what point does the brain switch with the coaches to go, they're playing well at Villa, bring them back, don't play them, send them on loan again, oh, they're playing well, bring them back. We bought Donny van der Beek as a midfielder that Real Madrid wanted. His CV was there. The next step from buying a talented player is to play them in your team. Not bench them and then go, off you go to Everton. Oh, he's playing well again. Bring him back. Oh, no change. I send him away. He's doing well again. Bring him back. Don't pick him. You give him a bloody chance here. Don't rejuvenate his career somewhere else. Just give him a bloody chance. I don't get that. Our midfield is underperforming and we've got midfielders that should be given a chance. I'm so disappointed. Don't give a chance to Donny van der Beek, especially when McFred are playing crap, says PA. Ollie's incompetence when it comes to team selection in midfield is costing us. If Donny van der Beek would have given a chance, your thoughts? I don't, you know what? The honest answer is, PA, I don't know whether he's going to be the answer because all I've ever seen is glimpses. So I don't know. but he definitely should be given an opportunity. Some think Van der Beek is too attacking minded to play McFred role, but the only thing that because it actually can pass the ball and McFred really rarely defends is Julian S. Look, again, here's another thing that these people who think they know the story say about Donny van der Beek. Where are you going to pick him then? Bruno's never going to get benched. Ronaldo's never going to get benched. He's never going to play off the wing. Where are you going to pick him then? I don't know. Maybe I'm going to play him in the midfield, which is where he plays, as a number 8 or a number 6, or as a double pivot 6, which is things that came out of his mouth a month ago. I mean, it's a novel idea, but maybe I'm going to play him in the position where he plays. You know, I never felt Van der Beek was a number 10 anyway. And I think the way Bruno plays, I think Bruno's not even playing as a 10. I think he's almost playing as a supplementary striker. I think Bruno's playing way too forward this season. I don't know whether anyone's picked up on that. I think Bruno is almost a second striker a lot of the time this season. I don't like where Bruno's playing. I want Bruno to drop off a little bit. But Donny van der Beek, to me, is an 8. He's an 8. Or he plays next to the 6 in the midfield too, which is what he's done with Matic. Again, it's this flip, isn't it? Well, he's not playing because he's shit. He's not playing because he's shit. And also, where are you going to pick him? You can't play where Bruno plays. No, I want him to play in the midfield too, which is where he's played before, with Matic. And I think he's a better passer. I think he reads the game. I think he presses the ball better. And I think he's a better tackler than McTominay and Fred as well. And you can put that in your pipe and smoke it, because their tackling stats are rubbish. Absolutely rubbish at the moment. So I don't think there's an attribute that McTominay or Fred have got that is any better than Donny's, apart from McTominay's clearly better in the air and Fred's probably a little bit quicker across the ground. Apart from that, I think Donny's better than everything else at them. So he should be playing in the midfield as well. So there's a clear path to the team, as there is with Matic, as there is with Pogba, but it's closed off by Ollie's obsession with those two. So Donny van der Beek should be getting game time as much as Matic should be as well. In fact, I think our best midfield pair that I've seen over the last 6 months is Matic and Donny van der Beek. And I also think the second best one is probably Matic and Pogba. But, you know, I definitely think that there is a path to the team. It just won't be given. Ollie's treatment of Van der Beek is just as bad as Mourinho and Shaw. He just tries to put a positive spin on it, says Hugh. And also, just saw a podcast of Park Ji-sung and it got me wondering if he would be a better CDM than Fred, says Daniel Workout. I mean, I just genuinely just do not think Fred is a decent CDM. But, look, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is decided that, you know, that Donny can go in January, it's only what I'm not surprised. I think he's going to go. I think he's going to be allowed to go, and I think we'll never see him back at Manchester United again. I think it will just be out. And I think, you know, I was speaking to somebody. When was it? It wasn't this morning. I'm so tired. I think it was yesterday. Well, yeah, it was yesterday afternoon. And I was talking to them about the Donny van der Beek situation, and I said, look, you know, a lot of people feel that there is still a chance. In fact, it was yesterday afternoon because I just finished the Romano video. And a lot of people still feel that there's a chance for Donny van der Beek to get back into the team. And we're having a chat, and they basically said to me that, why is there a chance of him getting into that team? If there was a chance of him getting into that team, why has he not played yet? Do you think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to wake up in the morning and go, you know what? I actually am going to give Donny 10 games. You know, he's stubborn. And the bad thing about social media is that it's gone the other way. I mean, look, there is an obsession in the fan base to give Donny van der Beek game time. I'm part of that obsession as well. Obsession in football exists. You know, it does. And I've become part of that obsession. I put my hands up to it because it's a frustration, and I don't like waste. And I don't want to see, you know, like if you get a Chinese takeaway and you open it all up and your order's there, but then they've given you 2 containers of sweet and sour chicken. You're never going to be able to eat it all because you'd ordered enough anyway and they've accidentally put an extra one in. But I really don't want to throw that away. So I'll find a way of putting it in the fridge or something for another day. I don't like waste. And I think with Donny van der Beek is, you know, and if I open that sweet and sour chicken and it's horrible, I'll throw it away. But I think with Donny van der Beek, we've not even opened it. We've just got something there that's just going to be wasted. And I don't like that. I don't like that waste angle at all. So I think that, you know, obviously I am obsessed about us giving him a chance, and I think a lot of people are. But the downside of that is that if you've got a stubborn coach like we have, and Mourinho was stubborn, and I think Sir Alex was stubborn to a certain extent, but they were winners. The bad thing about a stubborn manager is that if they're not a winner, is that they're not a winner because they're making mistakes, and then they're stubborn with their mistakes. So you put that together, it can be a bad thing. But what I would say categorically is that there's no way Donny's going to get a chance under Ollie now, because Ollie will be private, like anybody. You know, nobody likes being told that their ideas are wrong. And the last thing you want to do when you're being told your idea is wrong is do what everyone else is telling you should do. Because then it's like, well, I was wrong. I don't think Ollie's going to go and pick Donny now, because the obsession in the fan base and in the media is that Ollie's made a massive mistake not picking Donny. And I think it's now become such a situation that Ollie will never give him a chance because he doesn't want everyone to go, I told you so. And that shouldn't exist in higher level sport anyway, because you should, if you're a proper leader, you should be able to learn from your mistakes. But I just don't see him doing it because I think he's too stubborn now. Statistically, Donny is not better in any defensive aspect of the game, including tackles. Just a fact, not an opinion, says Jimmy Garner. But Jimmy, I don't care about stats. I don't care about stats. And where are you producing these stats from? The reality is, Jimmy, how can you say that statistically Donny doesn't measure up to Fred and McTominay when Fred and McTominay have played numerous Premier League games and Donny's hardly played any? Like, that's the whole point. If he's not given the chance, how do you know he's not better? But I'm telling you now, because I've got eyes and I don't need to look at stats.com. With my eyes, Donny's a better passer. He reads the game. He presses better. I think he's a better tackler. And I think that his ability on the ball is streets ahead. Simple as that. It's an opinion. Mark, do you think the reason why Ronaldo didn't start the match was because of the leak that he was telling Ollie he wants the ball faster? No, I don't think there was anything in that, Zach, to be honest. Mate, Ollie doesn't play to win, he plays not to lose. Even if United sign a proper DM, do you think Ollie plays him ahead of McFred, says Trishan? Well, no, I don't, because we've already got a proper CDM. You know, I had somebody was having an argument with me today. I'm just going to try and find the tweet. Somebody was having an argument with me today because I'd put a tweet out saying, or replied to a tweet saying something along the lines of, I can't believe we are training McTominay to become a CDM when he doesn't know how to play the role. And then somebody said something like, oh, moaning about a coach training somebody up when we need somebody there. And I went, we've got Matic. And then someone quote tweeted that and went, look at this idiot, saying we've got Matic. And I was like, what do you mean, look at this idiot? And they were like, well, you know, Matic clearly can't play 90 minutes anymore. And I rest my case. Why is he here then? Why didn't we get rid of Matic and bring somebody in? Mark, can we talk about Ollie man management? Rashford and Pogba suffered long-term injuries because of him. Now Shaw playing with an injury and not 100%. Worried for sure, says Vishnu. You know, talking about McTominay, mate, just on that for a moment. Whatever you think about McTominay. And remember, I gave him an average 6 at the weekend, which a lot of people said was too high. McTominay's just been out for a month. He's wasn't meant to be playing until the Everton game. He came back for the Villa game, played the Villa game, I think he played 80 minutes, played all of the Villarreal game, and then played most of the game, or if not all of the game against Everton. So he's played 3 games in 7 days after having a month out with a groin. I rest my case about what you're saying there. The overuse of certain players. And I don't think Luke Shaw was fit at the weekend either. Mark, did you see how Klopp broke down Pep's tactics in the post-game interview? Meanwhile, Ollie couldn't put his tactics into words, says Julian S. But Ollie doesn't coach the team. I don't think Ollie's capable of talking to you about low blocks or breaking down an opposition and how he did it. Fair enough, then United should bin off their performance analyst department and replace it with your eye test. Jimmy, you're absolutely burying yourself here, because what you're trying to say is, and compute this, sit down and listen for the next few seconds. This is specifically for you, Jimmy. I don't like stats. I think they're a load of crap. I use my eyes because I had my eyes before stats and the internet existed. Sir Alex Ferguson didn't have stats. I watch Fred and McTominay and they're rubbish. I watch Pogba, Matic, and I think they're way better. And I think Donny would be way better as well. That's my point. What's your point? Because I told you yesterday about Fred and McTominay's tackle success rate being way down at the bottom of the Premier League compared to anybody else. So what's your point? Are you trying to... Basically, are you telling me that Fred and McTominay are better than Matic and Pogba and Donny van de Beek? Because if you are, I think you need to have a long, hard sit down and think about what you're actually saying. Let's move on. In October and November goes pear-shaped. Donny could outlast Ollie, says Wonky. And Mark, could Donny be sent on loan in January because Ollie may not be our manager next season? That's a possibility, says Manish. And Mark, can we talk about... I've done that one as well. So yeah, look, where we are at the moment is that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is apparently happy to let Donny van de Beek go on loan in January. I personally think that is probably the best case scenario for us and for Donny and for United, because he needs to play football. But as I said, and I'll say it again, there is a pathway to that team in the midfield, because the midfield is our weakest area. He's fully fit. He's clearly improved over the summer physically as well. He deserves his chance. But do I think he's going to get a chance? No, because I think we've got a stubborn manager who doesn't learn from his mistakes. And we saw it last season. I said this last season. The big thing about Ollie is you bloody better hope his plan works, because he ain't going to change his plan. And look at last year. You know, the biggest thing for me, the biggest hint for me that he would never really change his ideas was that nobody really liked Maguire and Lindelof as a pair. They don't. There's no pace there. It means you play a deep line. Nobody really likes it. And then a few times last season, and even the year before, I remember the season before last season, we went away in the February to Chelsea, and Lindelof was injured. We didn't concede. Bailly played with Maguire. He was fantastic. Everyone was like, now it's going to be Bailly and Maguire. We had some crap game at the weekend against somebody at home, and he dropped Bailly for Lindelof, and that was it. And it was like, well, that's Ollie for you. He obviously likes Maguire and Lindelof more than Maguire and Bailly, even though Maguire and Bailly give us a better balance. No, it's Lindelof and Maguire, and that's the thing. Some of Ollie's obsessions are illogical. Like McTominay and Fred over Matic and Pogba is illogical. It's the minority view. Maguire and Bailly are better than Maguire and Lindelof as a pair, but Ollie goes with the minority view. So, you know. I mean, look, to be honest with you, he was going to go with Dean Henderson over David De Gea. The only reason David De Gea is our number one goalkeeper is because Dean Henderson unfortunately got long COVID, and David De Gea had to play in goal and prove that he's one of the best goalkeepers in the world. If Dean Henderson doesn't get COVID, he's our number one goalkeeper now. And David De Gea sat on the bench. Another example of poor judgment in the coaching setup. That is well known. Dean Henderson was going to be the number one goalkeeper this season. That's why David De Gea came back early from the Euros, because he knew Ollie was going to go with Henderson and he had to get back and compete. Henderson gets long COVID, so De Gea goes in goal, and then De Gea is our player of the year so far. But Dean Henderson would have been the goalkeeper if he hadn't got ill. Again, it's another example of Ollie's minority view, but he'll be stubborn with it. You know, there's three things there. Maguire and Lindelof, I think Maguire and Bailly were better. Henderson and De Gea, I think De Gea is better and has been proven to be better. And then McTominay and Fred and Matic and Pogba are better. It's like weird, some of the things he goes with, but we better hope it works, because I don't think he's the sort of manager that accepts he's wrong. Mark, I know it's out of topic. Is Carrick and McKenna about to be given a 3-year contract? Yes, Sharwin, we spoke about it this morning on the morning show, so I'm not going to repeat it. But, well, of course, they are going to get one, and of course they're going to get one, because it's a management team. It's not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Solskjaer's never going to do a Sir Alex. Solskjaer's never going to go, bye-bye Phelan, I'm bringing in the assistant coach from Leipzig and then keep him for 4 years, and then I'm going to bring the assistant coach in from Everton. That's what Sir Alex Ferguson used to do. He used to rotate his coaching and his assistant coaches because he was the man. At Man United, we don't have the man. We have a management team, and that management team is Solskjaer, Phelan, Carrick and McKenna. And they're on a more level playing field than you think. Why didn't Ollie let Donny go on loan in the summer then, says Dougie. Well, why didn't he let Brandon Williams go last January? From what I've seen this season, Bruno is better attacking, passing, running more than any of our CMs, so why not net for now play him CDM? Can clearly do it better than anyone. Pogba at 10, least till he's gone, says Sean. I mean, I've heard about Bruno as a number 6, funnily. I mean, I would not put Bruno at number 6. I mean, look, I get it. I'm sure he could play there. I'm sure he could play there. But Are people forgetting that? I mean, look, this is the hilarious thing again. I've heard people sort of having a pop at Bruno this season. I think he's been very good. He's created more key chances than anybody in the Premier League. But apparently Bruno's had a bad season. In a team that's dropped loads of points and isn't playing well, Bruno's created more chances than anybody else in the Premier League this season. Oh, let's play him as a number 6 then. You know, this is my point. Like, Bruno Fernandes is having a good season. Not as good as he could be, but he's still having a good season. And the thing about Bruno is, I've always called him a stat padder. But I think Ronaldo's a stat padder as well. They don't need to play well to do something. Like, they can play well and do things, and we see that. But even when they're not playing well, they'll get a goal or they'll create a goal. And that's what Bruno does. And if you... somebody said this to me the other day. Can you remember when you were Ollie out? And yeah, look, hold on a minute. I was Ollie out. It was after the Burnley game. You know, I can't bloody stand losing to Burnley. It was January, just before we bought Bruno. We lost to Burnley. I was bloody fuming. They deserved to beat us, and I'd had enough. And I just can't see this man being the man for Manchester United. And to be honest, I was probably right then as anybody is now. But what happened is, they went, after that Burnley game, they confirmed the Bruno deal. And I'd always wanted Bruno. I was obsessed with us getting Bruno. I knew he'd be a big signing for us. And when you buy the player that you think's important, you can't then be manager out. So I was like, right, we've got Bruno. I think this is the right signing. I'm not going to be Ollie out. I'm going to give this 2 years and see what happens. Well, we're coming up for 2 years. We're coming up for 2 years of Bruno. So it could all fall into place. It could either end well or end badly. But you look at what Bruno's done since he came to Manchester United. If he hadn't bought Bruno Fernandes, we wouldn't have Ollie as manager now. No chance. Because the impact Bruno Fernandes has had on this United side... I mean, look, Jimmy, you like stats. Go and pull your stats out. But the reality is, I don't need stats to know that we finished 3rd and 2nd since Bruno came in. That's more consistent than we've ever been since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. We've never done top 4 2 years in a row since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. His impact on this team, on goals, on assists, on league position is absolutely... You can't argue with it. And that's down to Bruno. And I'll tell you for now, if we hadn't bought Bruno Fernandes that January, Ollie wouldn't be here and we'd be in a lot worse position. But the hilarious thing is, we only bought Bruno in January because McTominay and Pogba were injured. If they'd have not been injured, we wouldn't have done it. He might not even be here. Mark, considering we're always criticising our coaching staff, would not Pep or Klopp transform Fred or McTominay into a number 6? They have developed world-class Simon Evans. You know what? It's a great point, Simon. I don't think they would do it. I don't think Fred or McTominay would be anywhere near a starting team for Pep or Klopp. If they came to this football club, I tell you exactly what they would do. They would play Matic as the 6 and they would put Pogba or Donny next to Matic. That's what they would do. And if Matic is not fit enough to play, he wouldn't even be here. Jurgen Klopp or Pep Guardiola would not go, let's keep Matic for another year even though he can't play. Either he can play or he can't play. And if he can't play, he shouldn't be here. And if he can play, he should be bloody starting. It's not. I don't really get why people are not talking about this in press conferences and the fan base more. I don't know why this is not being discussed. Is it because Matic isn't very attractive as a... I mean, I don't know whether he's attractive as a man. I don't go that way. But, I mean, as a footballer, is he just a bit of a dull topic? Because if you like your football, and you know, people have never been so engaged in football actually at a depth which is more than, oh, he scored a goal. Why is Matic not getting spoken about enough? Why are people not talking about Matic? Because, as I said before, when Ollie first came in the club, it was Matic, Herrera and Pogba, and we went on a massive winning streak. Then, the following season, Bruno came in the January, and we had Matic, and I think it was Matic, Fred and Bruno. That did really well until COVID. And then COVID hit, and then after COVID, we had Matic, Pogba and Bruno, and we got to a semi-final and we got into 3rd place from nowhere. So, Ollie's best periods have been with Matic. But no, you won't get a journalist who can be asked to go and figure that one out. You know, it'll be down to the fans again. Matic has always been the fundamental of Ollie's best periods. And yet, over the last year, he's just phased him out. Why? He's the best CDM we've got. Now, I think I know why, because I think he's past it. I think Matic is clearly going to be past it. But if he is past it, that's the question. Why is he here, or why are you not playing him? He's your best number 6, so why are you not playing him? Well, he can't play every week. Well, why is he here then? You've exposed yourself as being incompetent there. The fans showed immense support to Martial when Josie wanted him gone. Van der Beek needs us, says Hezron. Mate, I don't think many United fans are going to stop backing Donny van der Beek just because some people are saying, well, he must be shit, or where are you going to pick him? I mean, it's a flawed argument. How can you say Donny van der Beek doesn't deserve to start, yet we're watching people who do start who are terrible? And secondly, there's a pathway to that team and he should be given game time. As I say, I'm not saying pick Donny van der Beek because we're going to win the league if we do. I agree with that. I don't know how good Van der Beek is going to be. But what I am saying is you can't say he doesn't deserve a spot in that team because he's not good enough when you've got Fred and McTominay playing badly. That it's hypocritical. You can't say that. Oh, he's not playing. You know, it doesn't make any sense. If you've got players that are playing well, yeah, of course he doesn't deserve to get a chance. But we've got players playing badly, and as I said, it's not just Donny. It's Matic and Pogba who are sitting on the bench. I mean, that bench on Saturday was laughable. The quality on that bench was a joke. And you've got to look at the first team and say, yes, there are 3 players that should be on the bench instead of some of the people on the bench. Why don't we buy Palino, most underrated CDM, and he plays for Sporting, says Xhaka. How much is the attitude of the top management actually fueling Ollie's baffling decisions and the inaction around key footballing concerns, says Sarab. The fact that we don't really have anybody who knows anything about football above Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has always been a problem, and Mourinho highlighted this. He said, at previous clubs, I had people that could come out and do interviews for me. I had people who would come out and talk about transfers. At Manchester United, not only are you the boss on the coaching ground, you come off there and you're left to do everything else yourself as well, because everyone else is just a bean counter. All they're worried about is money. They can't come out and talk about football. Look at the German model again. Look at the CEO of Dortmund or Bayern, or not only the CEO, the sporting director. They're out giving interviews all the time about players and things like that. Not at United. It's clear what a good coach would do, and it's clear that a good coach would have bought CDM. Ollie had 4 transfer windows. He clearly doesn't want one, says Milverton. No, he doesn't. He didn't want one in the summer. But the interesting thing as well is that so somebody just messaged me. The interesting thing is as well is somebody messaged me this morning about this. I think it was Beth actually. She sent me a screenshot of it, and it was that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has now had more games than Moyes, Van Gaal and Mourinho had, and he's won less trophies and he's had more money, and yet he's probably not under the same scrutiny that any of those managers were, considering Van Gaal was under massive pressure from 6 months before he got the sack. So that's got to be at least 30 games where he was under massive pressure before he went. Mourinho, probably the same. He was under pressure from March and didn't get the sack till December. So he probably had, 30, 40 games of big pressure on him. Moyes was under pressure from day one. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has had more games, not won any trophies, and had more money. And isn't under a massive amount of pressure. There is pressure building, but he's not under the same amount of pressure as Van Gaal was in the last 6 months of his time, or Mourinho was in the last 6 months of his time, and yet they're the 2 coaches who brought us trophies in. So look, when you look at it like that, there's no reason to feel guilty for questioning some of these decisions. And I think we always feel guilty because it's Ollie, and it's Carrick, and it's Phelan, and it's McKenna, and we want them to do well, and we like them, and you almost feel like it's family. It's almost I think that's a great analogy actually. It feels like you're stabbing a family member in the back by criticising them. It's like Christmas dinner, and you go around, and your sister-in-law has invited you around, and she's cooked the turkey, and she goes out the room, and you go, that was bloody horrible, wasn't it? You don't want to do that. It's Christmas, but. I don't really want to be criticising these people. I just want them to be successful. But actually, when you look at it like that, he's had more games than Van Gaal and Mourinho. He's not won any trophies than they did, and he's had more money. And yet they were under massive pressure for their last 6 months. Ollie's been there longer, and he's not really under that sort of pressure yet. It's going to be interesting what happens over the next couple of months, though. It's clear. We read that one from Milverton. Hi, Mark. Love your jumper. Ollie out, says Mikael Roach. If you want to get one of these, links in the video description. This is a newer design that we've got out. Obviously, we've still got the Last Dance one as well. We do ship worldwide. Links in the video description. And Nick says the Donny treatment is the same as what happened to Fred when Ollie arrived, and you were saying Matic was static, says Nick Warren. Yes. It's a great point, Nick. The fans, it's a great point, Nick, because I was thinking about this today. You've just reminded me of a really great point, and I'm going to talk about Cavani comments. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant point. Right, okay, so I've spoken about some of these people in our fan base who, look, they've generated a conversation on the show today already, so we thank them for that, even though I don't agree with their opinion. So their basic argument is, and we've already spoken about it, so I'm just going to summarise it. One, Donny's shit, that's why he doesn't get any game time. Well, that argument's flawed straight away, because McTominay and Fred have been shit, and, you know, they're not on the bench, so why shouldn't Donny be given a chance? So that argument's a load of rubbish. Two, where's he going to play? Well, maybe he's going to play in the midfield, which is where McTominay and Fred are underperforming. So, yes, Donny van der Beek should be getting more game time, 100%. But these same fans, right, they're going, well, Ollie's right not to pick Donny van der Beek. He's crap, right? Which I think is absolutely stupid. Every time I've seen him, he's been crap. Well, I don't think that's the case, actually. I think every time he's played, he's shown a lot of promise. And he'd get better and better if he was given more game time. That's what people want to see. But, you know, you just got to trust the manager. He's right. He's crap. Right, okay. I bet you weren't trusting the manager when Martial wouldn't pick... when Mourinho wasn't picking Martial. Or treating Luke Shaw badly. Or Rashford. You know, wasting Rashford and Martial. I bet you sat there and went, well, Martial and Rashford are crap. Jose's right. You know, different set of circumstances that don't suit the agenda you've got now, maybe. And then the best one of the lot... And the one that really frustrated me the most. Van Gaal, midfield, always picking Fellaini, always ignoring Herrera. Used to really wind me up. Very similar to the Van der Beek situation, but he wouldn't pick Herrera. Van Gaal just wouldn't pick Herrera. He would always pick Fellaini, and I'd be like, what the bloody hell? And the fan base was all the same. He hasn't got a bloody clue. He hasn't got a bloody clue. And this is what makes me laugh. Because what happened? Van Gaal left, Herrera got his chance, and he was this player that the fans thought he was. So, look, my point is this. To those people going, well, just trust the manager. He knows what he's on about. Van der Beek must be shit. Must be crap. Right, okay. Van Gaal, one of the better managers of the last 30 years, ignores Herrera for Fellaini, and most of the fan base at the time were going, Herrera is exactly what we need in that midfield. He's more mobile, he's more tenacious, he's a better footballer, he should be in the midfield. Fellaini was picked. Van Gaal goes, Herrera comes in and is really good, and the fans go, we were bloody right, he should be doing that. So the point in question is, just because a manager's doing something doesn't mean they're right. So, you know, I really do think that Ollie's wrong about his midfield, and Matic, Pogba and Van der Beek should be getting game time. After these past 4 games, I felt that this season Ollie's weaknesses have appeared once again. Do you think the players trust Ollie, says Francesca? I do think that the players are... Thanks, Civic, for the super chat. By the way, thanks everyone who's doing the super chats. DK says, Ollie's stubbornness will be his downfall. Have already written off the season. Predict something between 3rd to 5th. Ronaldo will be pissed. Bruno will be concerned. Pogba, Lingard, Donny gone. McShit stays, says DK. I do think it's... I do think we'll get top 4, by the way. I really do think we'll get top 4. But I do think that Solskjaer's still got the players with him. I really do. I think that the players have not gone yet. I think that there will be some players that are frustrated, but I don't think he's losing any of the... I don't think he's lost the players or anything like that. So no, I don't think that. The other thing I wanted to bring into you was Cavani. Very interesting quotes from Cavani, who is... I don't know. Here's a question for you then. Is Fred... See, this is what I love about our community. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. This is why I love the community. Are Fred and Cavani on international duty? I know they didn't go last time, but is Fred and Cavani on international duty at the moment? Because I think they are. I think they are. But anyway, there's been some quotes coming out. Scott is 25 and we still think he would be a good player playing him regularly because he was from the academy. Can Chelsea, Real City do that? It's a Sapatish. Look, I had somebody arguing with me the other day saying that McTominay's still young. And I'm like, are you still young at 25? 25 in December? Are you still young at 25? Well, you're young to me. Bloody hell. Definitely young to me. But in footballing terms, is 25 still considered to be young? I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I don't think 25's young. I think at 25 you should be going into your prime years as an established footballer where a club can know that they've, 25 really should be established. Why are we happy with top four? Qualified to the Champions League and be embarrassed by farmers like young boys, says DK. And completely understand if you don't want to say this out. When you say people are saying Donny, no, I'm not, Daniel, because I don't watch other fan channels, so I'm not. I'm actually talking about people I interact with on Twitter, which if you go on my timeline, you'll know who they are. Who I like. I like them as people that I've always interacted with, and we do DM each other. But they, I do get involved in some of these conversations on Twitter about Donny van der Beek. So no, you're wide of the mark there. I've got no idea what they're talking about, but if they are talking about that same sort of thing, again, it's probably a lot of people who do this are people who are basically, what's the word? They're just, I don't know how to describe them. I mean, some people would call them Ollie sympathisers, but I'm an Ollie sympathiser. I still want him to do well. Apologists. I think they're Ollie apologists. They're like, we're making a lot of mistakes at the moment and they're justifying the mistakes. I think that's the best thing, because I want Ollie to do well. I want him to still turn this around. So I wouldn't say I'm not sympathetic of Ollie, but I'm not an Ollie apologist. I think these people are Ollie apologists. They're like, well, he's right not to pick Donny. He's right to pick McTominay and Fred. He's right to play, pragmatic football. They almost like just arguing themselves into corner without logic, I think. But it is an opinion, and maybe they're right and maybe we're wrong. Playing Fred and McTominay is like playing Gerrard and Lampard in the same mid two. Similar, therefore, they run into each other's way. Jonathan Taylor, like a Poundland for Gerrard and Lampard, though, aren't they? Bloody hell, McTominay's going to be the new Lingard, youth player forever, says Nick. He's still classed as young, coming up for 25. Just wondering, no worries, says Daniel. No, I mean, look, maybe you've seen people talk about that elsewhere. I wouldn't watch that anyway, but I don't have time. Only way for Donny to get into the team is to tackle Fred hard in training, says Mikael Roach. Yeah, imagine that. That would be... he definitely wouldn't get picked then. Imagine that. Kaliki, he's two-footed Fred! Get him out! Get him out! He'd be in real trouble if he did that. Foreign players can go and play for their countries and come back into quarantine where they can still train and play but can't see their family. So, I was trying to establish, are Fred and Cavani on international duty? I'm just going to wait for the chat before I do it. I'd take Kimmich for £500 million at the moment, Liam. Liam Frederick says, would you take Kimmich for 100? I'd pay 500 million. We're that desperate for a midfielder. I'd pay 500 million. Yeah, they're both on international duty. Fine. Thank you very much for everyone who's saying that, especially Nathan Burke. I saw that one first. Right, so let's talk about what Cavani's been saying about the situation as things stand. Why is there a quote coming out about from Romano saying that he's Man United are with Solskjaer and they're backing him? He literally was on our show yesterday saying this. United stands the place to be. So Edison Cavani has been speaking. I mean, this is what he's had to say. The league has just started and I've needed to be not quite like last year, but I'm there to be a part of it. In football, you have to be always ready. It's one of the keys at the top level. Sometimes you play more, sometimes you play less. Managers make decisions, but that doesn't stop the work to always be competitive. On Ronaldo, he said, these are things that happen. A lot of debate is created, but football is footballing. You don't have to turn it around too much. It's not because of one or the other is there. The important thing is to be prepared for when it's your turn. You always want to play. Ronaldo wants to be there forever, but that is not going to change my way of thinking or acting. So Manchester United's Edison Cavani there talking about the situation. I mean, look, some people think Edison Cavani might go in January. I don't necessarily think that is the case, but it is interesting. I think in an ideal world, we would be talking about this, and we wouldn't be talking about the midfield, and we wouldn't be talking about 14 points from 21. I would love to be on this international break, and I think this is where a lot of frustration comes from. I would love to be on this international break talking to you about Cavani and Ronaldo game time. You know, where we've got 18 points instead of 14 points, and we're playing good football, and we're creating chances, and we're talking about how do we get Cavani more game time when you've got Ronaldo? You know, Cavani starts the game against Everton, gets 2. Ronaldo comes on for the last half an hour, he gets 2. We're playing great football. How do you keep them both happy because they're both number 9s? I mean, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about that. That's what we should be talking about in this international break, because he's got an embarrassment of riches, and we should, based on the first 7 league games, have 18 points at least. Well, 18 points I think would be good. Unfortunately, we're not really debating the Cavani-Ronaldo thing because we've got far bigger problems. But it is interesting Cavani talking about it, because I think that, yeah, look, we spoke about Sir Alex's comment this morning. He couldn't understand why Ronaldo's not starting. And to be honest with you, as a Ronaldo fan who's followed him for most of his career, you don't bench Ronaldo. You just, unless he wants to be benched, you don't. I said this before the game on Saturday. Did Ronaldo look happy? No. Therefore, he clearly wanted to play. Therefore, it's not his decision. So we've brought a player in. He's been here barely a month, and Ollie's already pissed him off by benching him. And I think that's what Sir Alex is saying. You don't bench your best player. And he benches his best player. So, you know, is that a sign of things to come? Well, it's backfired badly straight away. So therefore, I think Ronaldo's going to have to start playing 90 minutes more often. And that means for Cavani, what do you do? We sort of look. There are amazing positives to having Cristiano Ronaldo at the club, and I know some people, because of how we're playing, want to question it, etc. But there's not one part of me that would even contemplate not bringing Ronaldo to this club if I was in charge. I think it's absolutely the right decision to have done. Amazing, Fred. There's not Ollie's signing, and Donny is actually. That's a good point. Yeah. Is there anyone in our youth we could try at CDM? No. KC, not at the moment. Has the Ronaldo walk-off put more pressure on Ollie? Yes, Steve Locke. And the real problem is the Glazers giving more of a crap about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and using Man United as a trust fund. Nothing will change if they're the owners. Well, Patch, I think many of us have said that before. I think you're right on that. Please smash a like on the video if you're watching, by the way. Let's see if we can get 2,000 while we're live. Still live for a few more minutes yet. But yes, I think that... I don't know what you think. I mean, it feels like we're starting to get a little bit of the story of, was Ronaldo a bad deal in some way? You know, has it destabilised the club? Has it affected, you know, people like Sancho, Cavani and Martial too much? Does he suit the way we're going to play? Is Ollie strong enough to deal with a player like this and get the best out of him? You know, they're all valid points, but for me, whilst they're all valid points, not one part of me would not sign Ronaldo, because, and my favourite thing about Ronaldo, and I said it last night, is he epitomises us. He is us. Like, Ollie can think McTominay is his Roy Keane, and Sir Alex Ferguson did have his Roy Keane on the pitch, but I think as fans, we've got us on the pitch in Ronaldo. You know, he's the player we really wish we were, but also he's the player that actually has the same feelings as us. He demands we win the biggest prizes. Second place is not good enough. So, to me, Cristiano Ronaldo, whilst not only being one of the greatest footballers there's ever been, and an exciting player to watch, I think his aura is that of us. He wants to win and he wants to be the best, and we want that. So I wouldn't ever for 1 second contemplate not having that player here. Do I think it will be a match made in heaven? Potentially not, because I think at the end of the day, if we don't get the best out of the player and you start benching him and you don't play to his strengths, this could turn into a sour situation. But I don't think it's going to be a sour situation because of Ronaldo. You know, Ronaldo is not coming here to retire. He's not coming here to be a mercenary. He's not coming here to just, you know, not try hard. Ronaldo's coming here because he's still got a very personal, professional battle with Lionel Messi. And Lionel Messi is at PSG. And Lionel Messi will win the domestic league, might even win the Ballon d'Or again, and probably could win the Champions League. And Ronaldo's slumming it with United at the moment, and I say slumming it in the sense that we're nowhere near the levels of a PSG at the moment. So Ronaldo's definitely got the drive and desire that we have, and that, I think that's massively important. Other thing I wanted to bring in as well is that I read something, I don't know where it was from, I was just trying to see here on my phone. In Ronaldo's entire career, Man United only won who aimed for top four, says Rahul. Hi Mark, if it goes tits up with Ollie, who's the next and what would change, says Kieran. Well, this is the problem. If it goes tits up with Ollie, you've got another rebuild, haven't you? Although, I want Ollie to do well. I'm not Ollie out yet. I'll argue that. I've explained that. You've got your point. I've got my point. We dream the same dream. We want the same thing. Agree to differ or agree to agree. I don't care on that. But what I would say is, I got pulled up on this and it's right. I've said, and welcome to the Members Club, Cade. Thank you very much for joining. If you want to become a member, click the join button. You get your badge next to your name. Thank you very much for supporting the channel, all of you as per usual. But what I have said is, the sad thing for me would be this. If Solskjaer got the sack and we cleared house of all of Phelan, McKenna and Carrick, effectively the danger is that somebody else comes in and it's a 3-year project again. And we're going over 10 years since we won a title now. I mean, it makes me so sad to think that last title we won under Sir Alex is going to be 10 years at least before we win another one. It's so sad. But it doesn't actually have to be like that, because if I was on the board at United and Woodward said to me, we can't let Ollie go even though he's not doing well, because if we let him go, we've got to go through another rebuild and no one wants that, I would say not necessarily. I agree with you that it's not ideal to have another manager and start again, but I do think the club is in a situation where if you bring the right manager in, there's not really a reason not to expect to challenge straight away. And I'd say look at Chelsea. Chelsea bought a lot of good players. Lampard didn't know what to do with them and it looked a mess. They brought Tuchel in. They won the Champions League within 3 months. And then in his first full season, they're clearly going to be a title contender. And he hasn't actually spent that much money. He's just used the good squad that's already there. So, look, if Ollie fails, and I hope he doesn't, and a new manager comes in, we might not have what happened with Van Gaal or Mourinho or Ollie, where they go, this is going to take me 2 or 3 years to sort out. And it did, and they didn't. I do think that you look at that squad how it is at the moment, if Ollie did leave and they brought the right man in, I would expect that man to be able to go, right, we're good to go. I reckon I can challenge for the major trophy straight away. Obviously a holding midfielder is needed, but apart from that, I think we're good to go. Looks like Ronaldo, which is why Ollie shouldn't be, which only reflects on the job that's happening at the moment. We're underachieving with what we've got. Looks like Ronaldo hasn't discussed the midfield plans with Ollie before signing, possibly because of the pace of the move. Had he known them at Fred's situation, do you think he would have second guessed, says Sarab? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know whether you have those sort of conversations, to be honest. Will coaches and players have analysis post-match with all technology? We have it, so why are we making same mistakes and picking certain players, says Jude. And we are crying out for quality DM. We could have signed a player like Rice or Ndidi in the summer to solidify our midfield, says Josh. Mark, I'm absolutely terrified about our upcoming fixtures. Can't sit there and say we'll be okay. Shit results incoming. Love the show. Ollie out, says Danny O'Reilly. United fans don't want anyone capable of bringing instant success because they see that as too short term. They want someone to fail a lot like Ollie, says Andre. And I'm afraid if we don't win anything this year, Pogba, Donny, Lingard, Cavani, Ronaldo could still be going, leaving nothing for a new manager, says Kartik. I think Pogba's gone, Kartik. I think Paul Pogba is gone. It's about what we can get out of him for this year, because I think Pogba's gone. I don't see Pogba staying. I really don't see Pogba staying. I'd like to be wrong on that. I think Matic is going to have to retire because Ollie's basically retired him anyway by the looks of it. And Donny will have to go if Ollie stays. So yeah, you're right on those. I do think Lingard will sign a new contract, but to be honest with you, is that a great thing? I think Lingard is a bench player. And he's not going to be a player that's, you're going to build a title side with. So, look, there's going to be a bit of I do see trouble ahead for United next summer. I said that at the start of the season. I called this season the last dance, not because it's Ronaldo, because I think that it's the last I think Lindelof, I think Bailly, they'll push for moves. Maybe Tellez as well. I think there's a lot of players that are sort of like they'll be here this year, but they won't be here next year. So, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that are not as immediate as obviously the poor results. But yeah, United are looking at a right back, and again, I think they'll probably look at Kieran Trippier, which, to be honest with you, he's coming up. Is he 31 now? So he's coming up for 32. I don't know about that. I mean, for me, if I was going for a right back, Max Aarons. Yeah, I like Dalot. I want Dalot to do well. I've not given up on Dalot, by the way. I totally disagree with the way people spoke about Dalot last week in the Champions League. I think it's very difficult when you're not being given game time to come into a game like that and perform. Again, I think Dalot properly, the same as Telles, the same as Donny. I think if you're going to properly assess them, they must be given 2 or 3 games in a row. So I still have hopes for Dalot. I still think there's a good player there. But to me, Norwich are going back down again. Why would you not get Max Aarons in and use him as the player that's coming through competing with Wan-Bissaka? I heard they're working on a 4-3-3, Pogba and Bruno as 8, says Eric. Well, we heard that in the summer, Eric. Why have they not done that? Next 6 games are difficult. How many wins is good for you? I think 4 minimum, says Daniel Kirk. So the next 6 games off the top of my head in the Premier League are Leicester, Liverpool, Spurs, Man City, Watford, and is it Arsenal or is it Chelsea? It matters not. 18 points. We've already dropped too many. When you drop points, you know what you can't do. Look at the next 4 games, right? Look at the next 4 games. Leicester away, Liverpool at home, Spurs away, Man City at home. In normal circumstances, if you're top of the league, you would say beat Leicester, beat Spurs, draw with Liverpool, draw with Man City. 8 points from 12 isn't bad. It's not bad. But, and people, we'll probably do that and people will go, that's not bad. But the reality is, we've already dropped, got 14 from 21 against teams we should be beating. So that puts an added pressure on these, that if we're going to have a good season, we're going to have to beat Liverpool. We're going to have to beat Chelsea. We're going to have to beat Liverpool, Leicester and Spurs and get a draw against Man City. We'll have to take 10 from 12 instead of 8 from 12 because of the points we've dropped already. So, it's hard to judge what's good. Because I do agree, a draw against City and Liverpool and beating Spurs and Leicester will be perceived as good, and it is good. But we have dropped a lot of points already, so to get those points back, you've got to do better than good. My general feeling is that we'll probably end up with 6 from 12, 3 draws, a win, or 2 losses and 2 wins. I think we'll get 6 from 12, which isn't good. It's not good enough. I think you've got to get a minimum of 8 from that. Ideally 10. Brilliantly 12. But yeah, you just don't know with United though. You don't know what we're capable of. Twitch. I will be on Twitch, but it'll be tonight again. We had a brilliant. Well, I wouldn't say we had a brilliant stream. We had an interesting stream last night. The Man United FIFA career mode, legacy defending. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, I have been doing it at 3 o'clock, but I'm going to do it again tonight at 9:30. So I enjoyed it last night. So I'm going to do 9:30 till 11 again. So I enjoyed that. That'll be on Goldbridge TV. So make sure you tune in for that. But look, if you want to get some of your merch, we do ship worldwide. Remember, it's getting colder. The hoodies are coming out, and also we're heading towards the old Christmas. Not too far away, are we? Well, it's still quite far actually. But links in the video description for that. This is available in all sorts of different colours, as well as the Last Dance and all the other stuff we've got. Give it to Eddie or whatever it's called, but links in the video description for that, and we do ship worldwide. I know it's a boys club, but do you think Woodward's replacement would stick with Ollie after a bad spell or pull the plug to make an impact, says Michael Nelson? Well, you answered it with the first point. It's a boys club. Richard Arnold's already at the club and he's getting Ed Woodward's job. We're not replacing Ed Woodward with an external candidate. It will be somebody from inside. So yeah, fact is, if we had Pep, we would be top any other manager for that matter, says DK. Great point, and I will answer it. Do I think Pep or Klopp would win the title with this team? I think Ronaldo makes it different. I've always said, and I think I said it at the start of the season, I still think with this team I would want a holding midfielder. And I can't be a hypocrite. I can't say we should have bought a holding midfielder in the summer and then say we can win the title with this team. So I do think that the holding midfielder makes it a title-winning side for a Pep or a Klopp. But it's definitely a title-challenging squad. Because I do believe that Matic and Pogba, with the players that we've got, make us a very good side. Obviously, we just don't know what the fitness of Matic is, and if he's not fit, he shouldn't be here. That's the truth. But I certainly think if you had Pep or Klopp in charge, you would play better football, and we would be more competitive. But I think that in reality, it is difficult to quantify. But what I would say as a bottom line is, you definitely get improvement on what we're getting at the moment, and therefore we must demand improvement. We must. But look, I've really enjoyed the show. And I hope the start bits about Donny have created a few sound bites that people can use to generate their own opinions. Because, as I said, I can't be dealing with the reason he's not playing is because he's shit. Well, that doesn't stand up to the fact that we've got two midfielders who've been playing like that. So why shouldn't another player be given an opportunity? Where can he play? In the midfield. And also, let's just trust Ollie on this. Well, unfortunately, we can't trust Ollie on this because it's not just Donny, it's Matic and Pogba as well. And I don't care what you think about Donny, I do think he should be given a chance. And I think loaning him off is a joke when there's a pathway to the... You loan players where, maybe Martial should go on loan because there's not really much game time for him. Why would you loan a midfielder where there's a pathway into our team right now? Why would you loan Donny van der Beek when there's a spot in the team right now where somebody's playing not well in the midfield? Doesn't make any bloody sense to me. Loaning a player should be loaned when there's no place for him in the team. There's a clear place for him in the team in that midfield. So, yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. But it falls apart on the fact that we're picking McTominay and Fred ahead of Matic and Pogba. So, it's the big problem, isn't it? It really is. Anyway, look, we will have an 8 o'clock show tonight. Make sure you smash a like on the video, subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. I'll see you at 8 o'clock. And if you're interested in my FIFA career mode, it's 9:30 tonight, so it'll be after the 8 o'clock anyway. Ollie needs to go. I just stopped watching United matches and even United content. Ollie just pissed me off so much, says Jay. Well, you're watching this. This is United content, Jay. You sort of outed yourself as a liar there, but I know what you mean. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Enjoyed the show. I really like the shows where we're just back and forth having a chat and a bit of passion in it as well, which is what it's all about. We love it. We dream the same dream. We want the same thing. Thanks for watching.